Did you know that infants are ready to learn sign language? 2-year-olds are ready to learn the basics of science, and 3-year-olds are ready to learn coding? Your child is ready to learn, and at Primrose Schools, teachers make the most of this time by creating a joyful, purposeful learning experience unlike any other.
For instance, have you heard of the Primrose Friends? In every Primrose school classroom, teachers use these 12 lovable puppets to make character development joyful, meaningful, and memorable. From exploring generosity with Benjamin the Bear to practicing honesty with Peanut the Pony, every friend plays a special part in helping children learn important values while having plenty of fun along the way. We could all use some friends like that. You can learn more at primroseschools.com. Now enrolling infants through children age 5. That's primroseschools.com for more information. Elizabeth, when we're together for the holidays, we end up going to Whole Foods Market every day. There's so many things that we need. Like we're going to a party and one of us needs to bring a gift for the host. They have these expert curated cheeses and crackers that everybody loves. They have excellent limited time seasonal desserts like holiday rum cake, creamy bûche de Noël, which is one of our family's favorites, and more. Plus, they have these show-stopping things for the table like bone-in spiral cut ham.
Well, Gretch, I love that they have heat and eat sides from the prepared foods department because you know that I am not much of a cook. So heat and serve is something I can do. And they have floral, Gretchen. So you can bring a nice bouquet of flowers if you're going to someone's house. Shop for everything you need at Whole Foods Market, your holiday headquarters.
Lemonada.
I'm Gretchen Rubin, and this is A Little Happier. I've talked before about how much I admire Warren Buffett's writing. Warren Buffett, of course, is the absolutely legendary investor known for his remarkable success in the stock market and for his leadership of the multinational conglomerate holding company Berkshire Hathaway. Buffett's approach of buying undervalued companies with strong fundamentals and holding them long-term has made him one of the wealthiest people in the world. What interests me about Warren Buffett, however, is his remarkable ability to communicate the values and strategies that underlie his decisions. Every year, he writes his letters to the shareholders of Berkshire Hathaway. I know nothing about finance, and I don't read those letters for investment advice, but because I so admire his ability to turn a phrase or use a metaphor from everyday life or use a little joke or aside to make his point clearer and more persuasive. I often find myself quoting many of Buffett's best lines. For instance, I love something he wrote in his discussion of managers when he observes, "Good jockeys will do well on good horses, but not on broken down nags." Meaning, a good manager can succeed when leading a good business, but being a good manager doesn't guarantee that someone can succeed under any conditions. What Warren Buffett did not say, but that I might add, is that sometimes a mediocre jockey will do well on an outstanding horse. A few weeks ago, I invoked this phrase at a conference when I found myself in a discussion about the fates of various media outlets. I was arguing that many forces are making media businesses far more difficult than in the past, and so someone leading one of those organizations may not be able to succeed, not because they aren't good leaders, but because systemic changes are crushing their industry. I made a few points, then summarized myself by saying, as Warren Buffett put it, good jockeys do well on good horses, but not on broken down nags. Everyone nodded soberly. It's a succinct and memorable way to make an important point. Even very talented people won't succeed if they're working in very unfavorable conditions. If you want to hear a very funny story about Warren Buffett and his grandfather, one that I told in a different episode of A Little Happier, I'll link to it in the show notes. I'm Gretchen Rubin, and I hope this makes your week a little happier. From the Onward Project.
Hi, Gretchen, Craig Robinson, and my little sister Michelle here. We host a new podcast called IMO with Michelle Obama and Craig Robinson. We know you're the queen of giving advice, so we wanted to get a few tips from you.
You know, Gretchen, a lot of our listeners are going through some major life changes. What advice do you have for folks who are trying to stay grounded in the midst of major life transitions?
Craig and Michelle, I am so happy to be talking to you. Here are a few questions that might help us gain perspective. So consider questions like this. What activities take up my time but are not particularly useful or stimulating for me? Do I spend a lot of time on something that's important to someone else but is not very important to me? If I could magically change one habit in my life, what would I choose? And here's a question. Would I like to have more time in solitude, restorative solitude, or would I like to have more time with friends? You know, just thinking about questions like this can help us start to figure out how we might make our lives happier. With greater self-knowledge, we're better able to make hard decisions that reflect ourselves, our own nature, our own interests, our own values. In my own case, I have found that the more my life reflects my nature, the happier I get, and the more grounded I feel when I'm going through a period of major change or transition. For more great advice, search for IMO with Michelle Obama and Craig Robinson wherever you get podcasts. You can listen to Issa Rae on letting go of certain friendships, Kiki Palmer on why disappointment is actually the key to career success, Seth and Lauren Rogan on caring for aging parents, and so many more.